going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 377 of Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
And Lj.Lowery.
Yo.
This week, we're geeking out about Nintendo Direct, live actions we don't need, again, and Dunkin' Egg, which is actually a title of a Game of Thrones thing. Now that you say Dunkin' Donuts, LJ, I can't say it correctly.
Dunkin' Egg, yeah. It just sounds, yeah.
Well, what if they do a crossover of some kind when it comes? Well, we're gonna talk about what this is later. But what if there's a crossover with Dunkin' Donuts where they give you a Dunkin' Donut with an egg, like a hard-boiled egg or something?
We're gonna see a product placement in
Men in Tights. LJ will know this. I don't know. Shelley, have you ever seen Men in Tights?
I actually haven't. I know what it is.
LJ, do you remember Men in Tights?
It's been so long, but if you maybe the reference, right? I might get the reference.
This is such a deep cut. Yeah, Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's Dunkin' Donuts, but there is a coffee, sitting in the windowsill, and it's like product placement. It's part of the joke.
That's great.
Oh, gosh. That's amazing.
And then wasn't there something in Game of Thrones randomly in the background, like a coffee cup or something?
Khaleesi Starbucks cup.
That's great.
They'll just start placing Dunkin' cups everywhere in the show. We're gonna get into that in a minute. We're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Talking about games that we've been playing first. LJ, go ahead. You got a couple of cool ones I'm curious about.
Yeah, so it's been a few weeks. I have beat Suicide Squad since then, which was a bit underwhelming, but I still had a lot of fun with the game. Felt the last chunk of it felt very rushed. But anyway, the games I am here to talk about, Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones is pretty fun. It's solid. I enjoy it. The only thing I think I have a complaint with is that it doesn't feel like there's anything drastic happening. I'm living the life of this pirate, trying to obviously upgrade my ship and kind of live the whole pirate life. But I feel like there just needs some overarching threat or something that keeps me going. Oh, I need to keep going towards this, or I need to keep doing this. But right now, it just feels kind of like an MMO, just like an MMO. I'm going to go A to B, do this, destroy these ships, go sell this or go transport this, which is fine. But I kind of wish there was a bit more urgency and more of attention in my quest, Maybe there is later on. I just haven't played a ton. I mean, I played quite a bit because there was a weekend.
Does it feel at all like Assassin's Creed's?
The ship combat, yes.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering because that was kind of
I like the ship combat, yeah. And see, this is where me and a buddy of mine have talked about this. There's all these people that are like, oh, but you don't actually get to board other ships, or you don't get to do on foot combat or whatever. You don't get to actually do this stuff. And I'm like, well, they never advertised that. They never advertised, hey, you're gonna get to do this. So I'm like. That's, so I think that's an invalid argument because it's well, they never advertised it as that. They advertised it as this pirate sim.
Yeah.
And there have been other games in the past that this game takes me back to 2005 because there's a game, Sid Meier's Pirates, and you go around the ocean, obviously, again, trying to live the pirate life, trying to get your name out there and become one of the most infamous pirates. There's literally a list, and you can be at the top of that list in that old game. So I enjoy it because it takes me back to a game that I was really nostalgic for. So I enjoy it. It's fine. It's one of those things where it's there is an 8-hour trial. So if you don't have the game, Ubisoft has an 8-hour trial for every platform, I think. So you can play the first 8 hours for free. Because of all the delays. And this game has been getting memed and getting bashed, because of all the delays. Suicide Squad was another game. I'm kind of a sucker for these mid-tier games that kind of get bashed on before they even come out, because I'm okay, I want to see what it's all about, So I enjoyed it. The thing that, however, that has kept me from playing more Skull and Bones is arguably the most talked about video game on the internet right now, and definitely the better thing is Helldivers 2.
Oh yeah, everyone's playing Helldivers 2.
Oh, it's so good. It's so fun. I played the first one quite a bit with some friends when it came out. But this was one of those things where, I wasn't going to play it initially. I was going to skip it because I'm I got other games I should be playing. And then I got roped into it like a lot of other people. it was just this thing of like, I saw things blowing up about it on TikTok, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, we need to like overtake this planet. Come on, we need people. And even players are like, come on, like let Xbox have this game too. Like, it was just the most wholesome thing to me, because I'm like, everybody's teaming up together. This is not a competitive game. Like, but it's super fun. Me and a bunch of my friends have this game. We've played a couple nights a week for like the last couple weeks since it's been out.
Oh, heck yeah.
They have had server issues, but they were fixed. This is the first weekend that the game has been out that they've had no like server capacity issues, which has been great. The CEO actually of the company of the developers, he was even like, "Hey, like I'd love for you to buy my game, like our game, obviously." But he's like, you can wait until we have our servers fixed. Like, we're not trying to, like, you know, like, we want this thing to be great. So, like, don't worry about it right now. So I was like, you know what? That's pretty cool. That's like me telling somebody at my job, like, hey, I want you to obviously purchase this or do this thing with me at my store, but here's a better alternative for you that might work for now, you know, or whatever. Like, you know, it's like somebody asked, yeah, it's just, I just love the attitude and just love the devs' response and everything. It's super wholesome. It's a super fun game. You get into a lot of shenanigans because there's friendly fire and a lot of other stuff happening. It's fun. It's super good. It's on Steam and PlayStation. It is crossplay. It's definitely taken me and my friends away from Pal World for quite a while, which I would still honestly love. Like, I'm still down with Pal World, but the Xbox version right now is just like, it was so buggy that I was like, ugh, I'd actually rather play Suicide Squad, like when a couple of my friends were playing it, because I'm like, I don't really feel like dealing with getting booted every 15 minutes and all this other stuff. Yeah. But, no, it's definitely taken us away from Pal World for a while. I'm loving Helldivers, too. It's super fun. Cool. So, yeah. That's
what
all
are you playing, Shelley?
I'm playing Persona 3 Reload, baby. I'm just playing it and writing the review. So that's part of it too. I'm writing the review for that game.
Yeah.
I got a lot of progress on that, so I'm
nice.
hoping I can get done soon and finish it up. But yeah, really good. I think, and I articulate this in the review as well. So definitely read it when it comes out. But for me, I think I'm realizing, like, I've seen a lot of people who are Persona 3 fans not like, or not love this game, I guess, because they're like, oh, it's not as gritty as the original game. It's not, there's something kind of wrong. And yeah, basically, right? But, which I kind of was like, okay, like, a lot of the complaints were very weird and niche, where they're like, oh, the dorm is too bright, and there's the animations are too shiny, and the music is too happy or whatever, which I kind of disagree with most all those, / I don't really think those are relevant. However, I think what I am realizing about this game is some of the fundamental changes that they've made. Like, I've heard a lot of people also complain, oh, the game's too easy. It's like, well, you could just bump up the difficulty. It was too easy. But the fact is, they changed a lot of stuff that isn't just, like, combat related. There's a lot of streamlining and a lot of quality of life stuff that they put in. And a lot of the quality of life stuff is really good. A lot of it's, inspired from Royal and things like that. But it kind of almost goes too far, I think, sometimes. And maybe part of it is that I was used to it when I played Royal, and then playing Golden, and then Portable, and not having those options, and then I got used to that. So it could just be that I'm not used to it again, but just the fact that, like, you always know who you can hang out with on any given day, you always know exactly who to talk to, always, you always know exactly where they are, you don't need to wait until certain days to finish quests like you have to in the past. A lot of it is just like, and again, it's not a matter of, oh, it's too easy, like, combat wise. It's just so streamlined that I kind of wonder, like, what the point of it all is. Just for example, you can get requests from Elizabeth, who's a character in the game, and when I played Portable, and again, I kind of bring this up in my review, so when you get requests from her, sometimes she'll say, hey, can I have this specific item? And it's not clear, like, what you're supposed to do to get that item, but it has, like, a certain day sort of associated with it. She's like, oh, you could probably get it on this day. So usually what happens in Portable, or I'm assuming the other versions of Persona 3 too that aren't Reload, I just want to from Portable. So what you do is you have to talk to someone specific on that day to get that item. And then you can go and give it back to Elizabeth. So, for example, there's one that's like, bring me a Christmas star. And you're like, what? Huh? What? Okay, Elizabeth. And she doesn't tell you where to get it, but you just realize, oh, maybe I need to talk to Fuka because she likes plants. Because the Christmas star goes on a big old plant. And so you talk to Fuka on that day that is specified, and you get the Christmas star, then you can go back. But you kind of have to figure out for yourself. You're not entirely sure like where they are, all this stuff. But now it's like you could just complete one of those into a single day, because I could get the Christmas star quest, and it'll give a marker like, oh, go to the dorm. And I'm like, okay, I'll go to the dorm. There's a marker above Fuka. I talk to Fuka. She gives me the star. It doesn't matter what day it is. I go back, I return the quest, and then I get a reward. And I'm just like, this just feels a little too streamlined. Like, I think part of the charm of some of the older Persona games is the fact that you like have to really like make decisions, and it's not always optimal. Whereas I think Royal kind of created this influence of like, you always get to, it's so easy because you always know where everyone is, how they're doing, if they want to hang out, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to like make a note of it for yourself, basically, which I think arguably hurts the theme a little bit. The theme of Persona 3 is very much, it's memento mori, right? You're gonna die. So what do you do with your life while you have it? That's the entire purpose of the entire game. That's the entire theme. So much of that theme, like, is sort of integrated into all these different parts, which is great. I love it. I think it's really cool. But sometimes I think, am I playing the game or is the game playing me? And that kind of hurts the argument or that theme a little bit too, when you're trying to like make these like cool, big, important decisions for your life that aren't always optimal. You're just like trying your best to like hang out with people, to study, to do all this, to do all that. But if the game is like, oh, just do this, it's the best option, it kind of sullies the theme a little bit. But I digress. I talk about more in my review, or I will be when that's up. But overall, I still really, really love the game, and I still think, despite everything, it's the best way to play Persona 3. But it is just a little bit unfortunate that some of that gets kind of sullied. So that's all. But yeah, I'm just playing that.
I did a little bit of Gametography.
Heck yeah!
So I played a bunch of games.
Yeah.
I turned on Cyberpunk, first of all, and then proceeded to play 2 hours of not Gametography stuff, because I just kept getting text messages in the game that has you have a phone, that were for stuff that was new so content. Unnecessary. It's all side stuff that, I don't even know if it is like new content, or if it was just things that it takes so long for time to progress in that game, that I was like, oh, maybe it's just stuff that I like didn't wait on long enough for. So there is some new stuff you can get on the subway, which there's no purpose to. I kind of love it. You can just ride around the city on a subway for no reason. It adds, I guess, fast travel, but they're hard to get to because they're like under the city half the time. So it's the weirdest thing. But no, I am continuing. I wanted to get into it before, and so I just got back into it again the other day, getting some digital or virtual photography, however you want to call it, for graphics on for social media and stuff. And so I love doing that, and I love the idea of like, I've always wanted to kind of make my own B-roll and my own photos to do graphics for, and there's like a little bit of pride in that, but it's really hard to do for those who don't know. And so when you can go to these like super fantastical places without having to like pay a bunch of money to go somewhere fantastical, it's really kind of neat that I can just like go visit the redwoods in Horizon Forbidden West, and get amazing pictures of the redwoods, or travel all the way up to Oregon in Days Gone, and
or the Old West in Red Dead, since that has a photo mode now.
Or something I can't even like literally couldn't even do in real life.
Last of Us Part 2 has a really good photo mode as well. Or both games have decent photo modes.
Check Last of Us.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool. I will say with Days Gone, I forgot how terrifying that game is, especially if you don't know how to play anymore. There's just stuff that could come at you at like any moment.
It's rough.
That was kind of with me I did get back into Mad Max the other day, and I guess that has a photo mode now because they had a Mad Max video game. And I was like getting chased down by all these cars and convoys, and I'm like, I don't remember how to do anything in this game.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It felt very silly because I'm riding this motorcycle around. I'm getting chased by zombies or whatever, and I'm like, I just want to take pictures. Please let me just take photos of the landscape.
Oh yeah.
But it's been a lot of fun. Forbidden West, not the best photo mode, I'll say, but I do love that I can change the day in 15-minute increments. That was really cool for Forbidden West.
Ooh. I think Spider-Man 2 is finally getting like time of day updates and all that for their photo mode and everything.
And new game.
Cyberpunk needs one because it takes forever to change the time in Cyberpunk, and so to not have a time like that.
There are games that have been really awesome with that technology lately. It's really cool.
Yeah, see. Like I mean, honestly, even like Tears of the Kingdom, it's like pretty simple. All you need is a fire. You could choose like morning, evening, noon, midnight. So that's at least something, right? So
yeah. That's cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Tears of the Kingdom might be another one.
Some games you can literally change the direction of the sun, or you can hit a button and you'd be like, "Ooh, I want the sun to be over there," or "I want it to be over there," or down here. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I can't think of what off the top of my head, but I know there are games that have done that.
It was pretty neat in this canyon that I was in Forbidden West, and being able to change the time and watch the sun and the shadows, peek through.
And then Ghost of Tsushima, you can actually actively change the weather in the photo mode too.
I've heard Ghost of Tsushima is a great game for it.
Oh, it's so good. I love it. Shogun comes out this week too. I'm definitely going to re-download that.
I'm loving it. I think it's really cool. I've showed a bit to my wife, and she's kind of been like, it's really not going to go noticed a lot of the time. Like some of these pictures, they just kind of look like photos of like landscape. They may look a little bit digitized, but you're not going to know it's from the game, especially as I'm taking the characters out of them. And so it's very much a like if you know kind of thing.
I love that though.
Yeah, I think it'd be perfect for like if I decide to use any of it for Geeks Under Grace stuff. It'd be really cool to have this thing that you could share with anyone. But the gamers will be like, I know that's from Forbidden West.
Yeah.
I think that's really neat. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. We'll keep playing with it. I'm sure that I'll continue to do so. It's nice, especially in the winter season. I think I'll probably go back to it. Winter didn't last that long this year.
God of War also has a good photo mode.
What does?
God of War, both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that was where I started.
Yes.
It was literally, I mentioned this on a podcast a couple weeks ago, but not everyone listened to every episode.
That's right, you did.
Yeah, so God of War, it might have been more like a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
I take actual pictures, like hiking all the time. And so God of War is very linear. I'm on a trail, which in the middle of the woods. So it felt like I was hiking, and I get to this point where I'm like, if this was real life, I'd take a picture. And I went, oh yeah, I can take pictures.
I love that you look at it from a very environmental standpoint. See, I'm an action shot kind of guy. Like I want to see a dude getting punched in the face or somebody with their gun out or something. Like I don't know. Like I'm an action shot guy. But you're totally.
I'm finding that there is maybe a bit of a uniqueness, for better or worse, that I do that. I'm looking at like the landscapes and things.
Yep.
When I look at, I was reading about how to do better virtual photography, and that was one of the things was like try to catch him in the action, and I'm like, I'm trying to remove every NPC I can.
No, and I love that because like even like I've learned like just actual photography skills from doing this, and I think it's just so neat that like. I am definitely tired of seeing shots of like Judith or whatever her name is from Cyberpunk. Like, there's definitely these characters that I'm like, I'm so sick of seeing photos from the community on Twitter. Like, I love that you're taking these characters out of the.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
Around with Cyberpunk a lot more. I think there's a lot to offer there in just the city life. And that was a big thing for me. Is I haven't taken a lot of pictures in cities. I live in a relatively small town. I would say a small city probably here. And so I can't take these like interstate photos and stuff that I want, and Cyberpunk I think can provide that. Unfortunately, the photo mode's a little wonky, but yeah, there's a lot of cool sites and buildings and things that I think you could probably take pictures of.
Yeah,
that would be cool. The other one I gotta get is that Matrix demo. I think I still have it downloaded. I heard that it has like a photo mode itself.
Ooh,
or it probably does.
Okay.
it's like that. Really, you don't do anything in it. It's not.
Yeah, because you can actually like detach yourself from like walking around the city, and I think you can literally like float around the city,
helicopter over it, and it's just a city. So I'm gonna check that out too. But, yeah, having fun with it, doing it a little bit differently than most people. But
love it. Innovation is what. There's nothing wrong with innovation.
Yeah, enjoying it for sure. What's going on in the video game world, though, LJ?
Not a whole lot of major stuff. But we did get I think it was a fun little partner direct last week. So I guess I'll go over some of that stuff a little bit. The automatic thing I think is huge, and this isn't necessarily just Nintendo, but so Xbox had that little thing happen where everybody thought like, ooh, they're going multi-platform.
Right.
That's not really the case. So they did reveal Grounded and Pentiment as two games that were coming to the Switch at this time during that direct. And those are both Obsidian games. The other thing, I guess, that's tangentially related, however you say that, is that Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush are coming to PlayStation 5. And I highly recommend both of those games. Cody can get in on some Sea of Thieves now on his PlayStation. Not that you couldn't do that on your... Also a great game for taking photos because it has a very minimal HUD, just going to say there. Okay. But yeah, so that's what Xbox is doing. They're putting a few things out there. They said there would be 4 games. Those are our 4 games, I believe, that they're putting on other platforms. So you got Grounded and Pentiment. I'm excited that it feels like we're getting a lot of re-releases, but I'm okay with this. Epic Mickey, the first one, is getting re-released.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Which I never got to play. Yeah, so I never got to play the first one. I played the second one like later on because that came to like multiple platforms. But I'm pumped. I've always wanted to play Epic Mickey, so I'm excited for this. For those who play World of Goo, I know that's a really popular one. The rare games getting added to, and this is totally out of order now that I'm looking this on Nintendo's own website. They added some more rare games to the N64 and Super Nintendo stuff. I geeked out whenever I heard that Killer Instinct music going because now Killer Instinct is on the SNES, and I was just like, yes, this game is my childhood right here. Another game I found to be intrigued by, which I think people from the Wii remember, is Endless Ocean.
Yes, I played so much Endless Ocean, both the original and the sequel. I played so much Endless Ocean.
This game looks cool. It looks like you get to like be underwater. It said like with 30 people, like up to 30 people or something like that online.
It's so
like
weird. Like,
it looks like this cool underwater exploration game to me. I don't know if there's more to it.
Yeah, it's it's funny we were just talking about Gametography because Endless Ocean for me was like my only real experience, or maybe just earliest experience with taking pictures in games and actually having it like mean something. And because you would take pictures of all the different wildlife, all the sea animals and stuff, and you log it into your book basically. And so you take all these cool pictures. You want to make sure you take pictures of all the dolphins and the sharks and the fish and stuff like that. And it was always it was cool, but there was always like a mystery behind it because when you go down deep in the ocean, it gets darker. The creatures get a little bit weirder, and which is real life. It's all like very scientific. It's all based on like real actual stuff. So that's, I think, what I'm curious about with this newest one, because the last ones were based off of like coasts of Australia and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, these are real places with like real wildlife. So I'm curious about this one, and it was like a really big deal if you saw something that was supposed to be extinct or something, right? Or there's like a really big deal, like if you saw like a whale shark
Ocean
or something.
Luminous is what this is called.
But yeah, so this new one, the trailer kind of threw me off because it was already like, oh, there's animals that aren't supposed to exist. I'm like, okay, that's supposed to be kind of a secret. And then it's like, oh, you can play with all these other people. And I'm like, that's interesting because I always felt it was supposed to be like this super solitary, very isolating experience, but you get to like maybe make a dolphin friend. Like it never felt very like, oh, fun, look at all this stuff. It was always like very solemn and very like intentional. And I don't know. Maybe I was just not very good at video games growing up either. Maybe I've missed something. But that was always my interpretation. So and also everything seemed super realistic at the time, and that was another really big draw to the game because it was like, whoa, this actually looks like the fish, at the time. Mm-hmm. So now we have it on the Switch where we have so many other systems where it's way better to see, experience graphics. So I think that's my biggest curiosity with this new Endless Ocean game. It's I loved the Endless Ocean games growing up, but is it going to have all the things that I actually appreciated and liked about those games? I don't know. I have no clue. So we're just going to see.
I thought this was maybe the game I'm thinking of. So I downloaded this indie game I got for free off of Epic a while back last night called Beyond Blue. Mm-hmm. And I guess the devs have cited Endless Ocean as an inspiration for it.
Oh,
but it is like you're talking about this certain this peaceful experience. And it's got like pieces of documentary stuff in it. Like apparently it's inspired by this like nature documentary or whatever.
Oh, I love
but
that.
like so it actually they did add a photo mode in it at some point. So I started playing it last night because I saw this trailer and I'm like, ooh, I wonder if that's like inspired. And so playing it last night, it sounds like it is. Apparently it's only like a 2-hour game. So like I'm totally gonna like knock that up for Backlog Golf. But like I'm like, this is scratching. I think this could scratch that itch until this Endless Ocean game comes out. But I'm excited for that one. It does look cool. So yeah, we can move on. The other things I'm looking at, some stuff we've seen before. I guess because you're a big Persona fan, I do want to mention Shin Megami Tensei, which is like the original series that Persona comes from. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is getting a complete version, which is
pretty excited because
it's a very Atlas thing for them to do. Is like, oh hey, we released this game a couple years ago, we're going to release this more complete version.
I've been waiting for Shin Megami Tensei 5 to,
and this is going to be like multiple platforms, not just Switch. I think there's like a Steam version. Yep.
Like ever since it came out on the Switch, I was like, I want to play this. However, I do not want to play it on Switch. I was willing to potentially, but I thought it's going to come to other consoles.
You held out for sure.
It's going to come to other things eventually. It will not remain on the Switch. That seems silly. And here we are, having not just only a release on other systems, but having more content. Which now I'm like, okay, perfect. Now I can get the game and play it because I've been meaning to, and now it's like my patience is being rewarded greatly. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, so that game that does look cool. Like I'm pretty sure we're gonna get that covered. Just because we've been getting a lot of Atlas stuff lately. The other thing I'm kind of stoked about, I think a lot of other people are, is they're releasing the OG Battlefront games on Switch and other platforms. I'm excited. I think I've owned those Star Wars Battlefront games on other platforms before, but I think just the Switch is such a perfect way to play Battlefront 2. Like, I could totally kill time playing that OG Battlefront. And people were not happy with the new ones, so it's like, here you go. So I'm pumped for that. Playing those Battlefront games again is going to be so much fun, so much nostalgic. Like, for people that haven't got their hands on that game for a while. Yeah, let's see. And then I'm looking at a few things. Super Monkey Ball, there's another Super Monkey Ball game coming, which looks cool. A couple shadow drops. We got Penny's Big Breakaway, which I think is from Sonic Team people. And then we also got another personal favorite of mine is we got Pocket Card Jockey, which was a game on the 3DS that I really loved. That was a cool one. Mm-hmm. A couple of shadow drops there, which is super cool. And then I think the last one I kind of want to mention on here is Another Crab's Treasure, which is it's a Souls-like, but it's this cute.
Yeah, I've never played a Souls-like game, but that game I might have to get that game. It looks
really fun. So fun, and like stylistically it just looks so cute.
I love the concept of like picking up different shells too.
It's gonna hit hard. It's gonna it looks awesome, but it's like, I know it's hopefully it's that perfect balance. Like maybe like a Jedi Fallen Order kind of balance or something. Maybe you can change difficulties or something, but I think that game looks awesome, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to get that one day one for sure. So Not a lot of like crazy big news from the Direct, but I honestly think it was really solid. Like, there's a lot of fun looking stuff on here, so that's kind of it. Those are the biggest highlights from that showcase. So we can move on.
We will get into the movies then. You guys both watched some classics.
Yeah.
Shelley, what did you watch?
Just our, at this point, annual watching of Lord of the Rings.
I was gonna say that's definitely annual.
I swear. And it's just great having the extended editions because we could just watch one half of one movie, whatever we want, basically. We just ended up watching through all 6, aka all 3. And it's still really good. I think my takeaway this time around is, because we have the 4K edition as well, and there are some scenes that are starting to stick out. And not in a sense of like, oh, it's bad, like CGI per se. It's more like, okay, only because this is a 4K edition is this stuff becoming obvious. Where like green screens or things like that.
4K can really enhance the experience and kind of like not ruin it, but it can definitely like
change it enhanced it for the most part, but yeah, it kind of leaves some of the animation or some of the like a lot of green screen stuff kind of in the dust, which was more so funny. It wasn't like actually like, oh, this looks bad. It was kind of just funny to see like pointed out basically. Where I was just like, oh, this is a weird little thing that happened here. Or like, look at this weird little mistake.
I watched Braveheart a while back, like a couple years ago, and it was an HD remaster. And there's a gold crown, and you're looking at it, and you're like, I'm pretty sure that's a plastic crown that they used.
Yeah, that's funny.
You would have never known in the original, but
right, exactly. Like even like all the folks clapping at the end at the coronation of Return of the King, you could tell that was just like weirdly like edited. They're really, really fuzzy, and nothing else in the scene is fuzzy, so it just looks awkward, because if everything was fuzzy like it was in the original, then it wouldn't be as weird. So that's kind of funny and really good. I forgot to mention, I also watched Les Mis. Again, that's also kind of an annual viewing for me at this point, although I think I've seen it now twice in the last year. I just have to watch it. Those are just, so I didn't watch anything new. I kind of want to see if I could get tickets to see Migration at some point, because I think some theaters still have it, which is crazy. So, and no one's talked about it. I don't know a single person who's seen it, and I don't know a single person who's talked about it. So I want to watch it, and I'll talk about it. Maybe in a week or two. I don't know. If I'm lucky.
Cool.
That's it.
What about you, LJ? What did you see?
So I, while I was on sort of a pirate kick with Skull and Bones, I was also sick that weekend, for a good few days, so I had time to watch. I didn't watch all of them, but I definitely watched the ones that are most important. I watched the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, the first 3.
Are there 4 or 5?
There's 5 now. There's 5.
5. Yeah.
Yep, because then there's like, so the last 2 are kind of weird. The On Strange Tides, the 4th one, feels almost like we didn't really need to do this, but people might find these characters nostalgic now. And then 5th one was like, what are you doing? Because it was just like
they were trying to like reboot.
They were trying to yes. So
but still had Johnny Depp.
Yes, and so I was rewatching these, and I remember liking the 2nd and 3rd one for sure. Rewatching them, I'm realizing I'm reminded of how like convoluted the 3rd one started to get, because there was so much going on. I think the 2nd one is still my favorite of all of them, though the wheel scene when they started like fighting on the island was straight up like stupid and campy, like and cheesy in the best way possible. I was like, yeah, this is kind of dumb, but I'm also kind of here for it. I still think like I don't remember like Davy Jones being a very popular character, or people like being like a cool, like I don't remember people thinking like he was a very cool villain, but I always liked Davy Jones. I was like, ooh, like they definitely
loved him. His CGI was so
good. And the story, like just his story and like just everything about that character and just the look of
his face,
the look of everything too, like his ship and just the way they designed everything. I thought he was cool. I was like, oh, this is the big bad of, like if the first one felt very much like a pilot to see if like, oh, hey, can we do this? Is it going to make us money? And then the other two were like, oh, cool, we're going to actually finish out this trilogy, so I liked it. There's definitely a lot of cheesy parts about the third one too, but again, it was nice to like, I hadn't watched like a long, like, not that the movies are super long, but just this epic style of movie where it's like, oh, you're here, you're in for a ride, you're here for the adventure, like, sit down a bit and enjoy it, like kind of a thing. Makes me want to go
for Vikings.
No, it makes me want to go back and watch stuff like, I mean, I know it's more like Disney wanted their Lord of the Rings, right? But it makes me want to go back and watch stuff like Troy and like I watched Gladiator a few years ago, but like, just these longer epic movies. I'm like, what? I need to go and rewatch more of these. Yeah, stuff like that. And like Braveheart, like I bought Braveheart on sale a couple years ago, like along with a few others, and I just haven't watched it. You just mentioned Braveheart, so it's just like, yeah, like I want to go back.
I only
to
watched Braveheart because Joe told me I had
to. Yeah, so
but it was good.
But no, like it's
Joe
just
Morgan, previous co-host,
and it reminded me of just these movies we don't get that often anymore. Like I feel like the most recent one was like Napoleon, that like was like, oh, here's gonna be this like epic, this grand epic movie that which yeah. I don't think that movie did well in particular, but I'm like, this is kind of a long lost genre because everybody wants action and explosions now, like I want some of these big battles again, stuff like that.
I wanted Northman to be that for Vikings, and it wasn't. And so I still need like an epic.
Once I found out who was doing that movie, and especially like directors and producers involved and stuff, I was like, yeah, that's not.
You're like,
I mean, I still have the movie, and I still actually have not watched it, but like, it's definitely yeah. It's of a particular taste, but no, it was good to go back and watch these again. I've been wanting to watch them again for a long time, and I was like, oh, this is the perfect time to do it. So, I did it.
Braveheart's good.
Yeah, so I want to go back and watch more for sure.
I wanted to watch. Apple TV has. I heard it didn't do very well.
And then like
Kingdom. It's a Braveheart sequel.
Huh.
And then it I think has one of the original actors in it. But it's about, I can't remember his name, a character in Braveheart.
Yeah. Then there's like movies like Kingdom of Heaven and stuff like that. Like I know for sure I have a copy of, and stuff like that. I'm just like, I want to go back and watch those.
Yeah. For sure.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
cool. We'll get into the movie news then.
Yeah,
go ahead, Shelley.
So let's probably talk about arguably the biggest one first. We got a trailer for Horizon: An American Saga.
Zero Dawn.
I know.
Horizon is also an American saga, technically.
It's a super duper duper prequel. Anyway,
no, technically not wrong.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it looks like it's like a Western. It's like Kevin Costner.
That's funny.
Saga, in the sense of there's gonna be more than one movie. In fact, I think there's gonna be 4, which is crazy that they're just like committing to that already. Like they must
That's a bold move, Cotton.
Very confident in this. So the first one's coming out, or part 1 or chapter 1 or whatever they want to call it. It's coming out June 28th of this year, and then August 16th. That's pretty close. That's like, are you sure it's 2024, not 2025? Let me check on that one. I feel like that has to be 2025. No, it says June 20th, 2024 and August 16th, 2024or.
I mean, the trailers seem pretty put together.
Yeah, that's just surprising. I'm used to it. You have to wait a year for the next part. But I guess it's
better than waiting a decade for like Avatar.
Dude,
right?
I swear. So, so we don't know when the last parts are coming out, but I think that's probably fine. We know when the first 2 are, and they're just a couple of months from each other, which is pretty surprising.
So we're gonna get Avatar 5 in 2030.
I don't know. I've never been super duper into like Western things in general, to just be completely honest. So I'm really interested to see. Like, it's supposed to be taking place. It's focusing on families and individuals and the little people, right? Furious. The regular people. Yeah, sure.
I would have derailed so bad.
It's focusing on just regular people, quote unquote, during the Civil War and like the 4 years of the Civil War of America. So very interesting time period. A lot of things happened, and a lot of things happened in in sort of cowboy west yeehaw times that are, I don't know, in my opinion, a lot of times it's pretty romanticized, I think.
Definitely.
Kind of blow over it, and they're just like, oh, like, it was so cool, like, taking over the West or whatever, but, like, there was a lot of bad things that happened, too. So I'm really curious to see, historically, if it's accurate, if they go, like, I just am curious what angle they're going to take it, and if it's going to be, like, what the focus is. It just sounds like it's going to be about war, but it's going to be about how war affects just the regular people kind of thing. But what I will say, all that aside, is that it looks really cool. Like, the actual shots and the costuming and the cinematography. Like, again, I just watched Lord of the Rings, so I'm all like, cinematography, cinema, right? And I'm getting that vibe from this, which is cool. I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of things recently that don't care about those sorts of things. So it looks like it cares about that, and of course people like having costumes. So I'm sure there'll be people running to see this. I don't know if I will necessarily, but it looks interesting for sure. So
yeah, I love the concept of it coming out in 2 parts within like 2 months of each other, 3 months of each other.
Totally, it's like yeah.
I think that's how Infinity War should have been. Infinity War, and then a couple months later we got the next one. That would have
been neat, but no, it's like I have to respect the commitment to just going for 4 right away instead of like, oh, we're gonna release 1 and maybe see how it goes and then release another.
Yeah, right.
At least you're gonna have a very complete story. It's just a matter of like, is it gonna pick up? Is it gonna be good? I mean, who knows? But I mean, hopefully, obviously, we want things to be good. Yeah. I lose a lot of hope. I'm not very, especially with our next couple news pieces. I just don't have much hope for Hollywood at this time and moment.
I said it's been a long time since it came out, but it was Cowboys versus Aliens of all things.
Daniel Craig
came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that movie, so the movie releases and I'm watching theaters and there's no aliens at first. For those that don't know, it stays pretty like, it's just a Western at first. And I remember thinking back then, like, man, I kind of just want a good Western.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I need the aliens. Like, can we just make a good action movie Western?
Yeah.
And I think that they have their own feel to them. They kind of get away from that, like, action genre. And I would love to see Westerns kind of break out of genre. My favorite, besides Cowboys and Aliens, I love that movie. Favorite Western is, like, old 70s Westerns, 80s.
The spaghetti Westerns.
Yeah, spaghetti Westerns. They Call Me Trinity. And the thing that was great about that movie, and They Still Call Me Trinity, is that they were also comedies. And so comedy was kind of not that like very well seen in Western movies. They're usually very serious and like, oh, rough, tough cowboy. And so having this, like, these comical characters in a Western movie was really neat to me growing up. My dad is a cowboy, I guess. He's very, like, loves John Wayne. He's got a replica of John Wayne's Colt 45 that John Wayne would use in his movies.
That's dope.
Lives on the 6 acres of land, has horses his whole life since he was 9 years old. And so Western movies were very prevalent in my life growing up.
Yeah.
But I never really hung on to them unless they did something different. It very much felt like whenever he was watching a John Wayne movie that I was just watching the same movie over and over, even though they were different. Like, did we just watch this? No, that was this one.
Like, and I guess, like, kind of like you, like, I don't think, like, I think Tombstone is, like, one of the last, like, modern era ones that, I mean, it's not necessarily modern anymore, but for the time, like, ooh, like, we're getting a Western with these big name actors in it, you know, like, and so having watched that, like, in the last couple months, I'm like, yeah, like, for its time, this was unique, because it's like, oh, we haven't had one of these in a while, and so I think, like, this thing, I think it's refreshing right now, too, because we really haven't, like, and it is romanticized extremely. The movie I'd recommend for people that want, like, a more gritty Western thing is The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. That is the whole title.
Wow. Nice.
It is it's definitely a dark, like, that's, like, yeah, this is what the West was really like, kind of a thing. Like, here's some of the stuff that actually happened. Because it's more based on, like, you know, the actual, like, Jesse, you know, it's based on actual events and stuff like that, too. Yeah. Such a good movie.
Rumor has it he's not buried there. I don't know.
Yeah, so
thinking one way or the other, but it was cool.
it's like that. There are definitely movies out there that it's like, oh, you want like a more grittier like take on the West stuff. Like that's part of where like Red
Cowboys
Dead,
and Aliens.
That's part of where like Red Dead gets its influences from. But yeah, like I think this is like we haven't had a old school style like Western movie like this in a long time. So I'm excited for it. And then it's like
I do think was it Ridiculous 6, Hateful 8?
Yes, like Hateful Eight was definitely like there have been Western movies out there for sure. Like there's a bunch of them. Even Nicolas Cage has one recently that came out like in the last couple of years. Yeah, so
I think old 70s Western, the spaghetti Western, just got so formulaic that like that kind of died away.
And then like I'd say
most modern Westerns, they try to be different in some way. I would say the only exception to that would be maybe True Grit. Stayed really close, I felt like, to the original tone of a spaghetti Western, the remake.
I've been wanting to watch that remake again too. Like I've definitely had a hankering for it. So
a hankering?
Yeah. Like I've like just to watch it. Yeah, so
this town ain't big enough for
there's like
both of us.
So there I could see where the like multi like movie thing is coming from too, because then you look at like The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. That's actually like 3 movies with all different titles too. So like I think they're definitely taking a page from the old days, like trying to do all these parts so quickly. I think it's cool.
Go Westerns.
Yeah. So again, I don't have much hope for Hollywood because of movies like Madam Web. Madam Web is you know how Morbius did and how it did bad, and actually how it went back to theaters and did even worse because the internet gaslighted Sony into thinking that they actually liked it. So it's crazy. Although personally, I don't think it's that surprising. Madam Web is not doing as well as Morbius did at this time. It's been only a couple weeks. For me, it's on one hand surprising because it's like, oh my gosh, Morbius was so bad. But I think on the other hand, like Morbius was like kind of the beginning of the end for Sony's villainverse, Spider Villainverse, and people like I think the marketing for Morbius was not that bad, all things considered. I think there was some things that we were like, oh, this could be cool. Whereas I think Madam Web's marketing has been atrocious.
Yeah,
I think it's
Morbius would have been cool in the year 2000, or like in like 2002 when the Spider-Man movies.
Again, in the year 2000. Sorry, Cody.
No, yeah, that was a really good segue though. But my thing with Morbius is I watched it. The trailers, like you were saying, the advertising seemed like it was going to be a good movie, enough so that I was going to give it a chance. But I think after Morbius, I'm like, I'm so done with these Sony movies.
Yep.
It's just rough. And I think everyone's everyone's feeling similar.
Venom gets a pass because it's Venom, I think. And
I wish it wasn't the same people. Like, Venom I actually kind of like.
Yeah, even Let There Be Carnage.
Like either, but
Let There Be Carnage I have problems with, but I still kind of like it, you know? Like,
yeah. But is her name Dakota Johnson? Is that right?
It's Dakota Johnson.
Yes.
Yep.
Like, everything I've seen from her interviews have been like, I haven't seen the movie. It's like the
That's
CGI
bad.
was so hard to work with, or the special effects. So I don't even know what the movie is.
So
I don't know what's
crazy
happening.
Is that she, and I blame her agency. I don't really blame Sony.
Yeah.
She thought she was joining an MCU movie, is what I heard. Maybe, that's a rumor I've heard, is that she thought she was joining the MCU, and so she was really excited about it. And then from what I heard, again, this kind of a rumor, she fired her agent after, or at least one of her agents or one of her
found out
after the first trailer came out.
I kept seeing interviews,
which is crazy to me. I'm like, how does that happen?
The biggest sliver that had me interested in this was that I think it was confirmed that Amazing Spider-Man, so Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, was going to take place in this universe. Like, it was that universe. And I was like, that's cool. And they were going to be references. And that makes a lot of sense when you look at the villain suit. I can't remember his name. But the villain looks very artistically like the Amazing Spider-Man suit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, that might make me watch this just to see, because I'm a sucker for those connections.
Yeah.
And then they did reshoots, and they said it doesn't take place in any Spider-Man universe.
Nope.
It just takes place in a Spider-Man universe.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm so good.
But here's the thing, fellas, is I wasn't going to watch this movie. I never was interested in Morbius. However, from what I've heard, this movie isn't actually that bad in the sense of... So it takes place in 2003. which is such a wild choice. It's a wild choice.
They're like, let's literally make it take place in 2000.
But the movie, from what I've heard, actually feels like it came out then, which actually is a selling point for me. It makes me want to watch it because
that's how I still felt about Morbius too.
Some of that cheese, some of that nonsense that comes with some of those older superhero movies that don't have to worry about
needless backflips.
Yeah, so part of me almost wants to watch it for that. Like, from what I have heard personally, it is similar to Morbius in such a way that it kind of circles back to being good and kind of funny because of how ridiculous it is. But the problem is that, I mean, it's still a bad movie at the end of the day, which is unfortunate because here's
it may be like a Netflix thing for me. Maybe I'll stream it when it gets...
Yeah.
I'm not watching it in theaters.
It'll be on Netflix. It'll end up on Netflix.
That reminds me of The Flash and them saying that The Flash's CGI was bad on purpose.
No way.
Because it was through his brain.
That's a bold-faced lie right there.
That's what that makes me... They're like, we meant to make it look like it's 20 years old.
That's a dang lie.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
It's like, it had nothing to do with the budget. We meant to make this movie look like it was filmed in 2003.
Oh.
It's like, okay. You say so.
Rough. That's rough.
That is funny, but no. So part of me wants to watch it, but probably also not enough to go to theaters for it, which is Sony's, like, wants people to go to theaters for this movie.
No.
Especially since Dune 2's out.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. Dune 2 is going to be out on Friday. Yes.
That's coming out. Oh my gosh, shoot.
I need to watch the first one again.
I need to watch the first one in general. I never watched it. Oops.
It's good.
No, really?
No, I never did. I just never. I meant to. I meant to get around to it.
If you like Lord of the Rings, this is such a weird comparison.
It's on Netflix.
Rings, I think you'll like Dune.
It leaves Netflix on the 29th. You should go watch it.
I should. I just need to. But
I think I'm saying that because it's long and drawn out. I don't know. But...
No, and that's fair.
I was engrossed in Dune the whole time. Like,
yeah,
it's good though.
That's what I've heard. So that's cool. I was just gonna say that it's just kind of a shame that, like, basically Madame Web's introduction as a character to any Marvel anything, as far as I'm aware, I could be wrong, maybe she was featured before, but, like, I don't even think she's in any of the Spider-Verse movies as a actual defined, like, maybe she's in the corner while in one of the chase scenes. Now, she's not really a defined character, and she's a really interesting character because she's, like, kind of like a spider person, but kind of not, and kind of like...
She's always been the, like, Force ghost to, like, Spider-Man, you know, like, kind of like a guide for him across the Spider-Verse.
I remember when I read
She was in that dang Shattered Dimensions game that I played on stream.
Yeah.
She was, like, the whole connection
of
cool. that.
I remember when I read the Jessica Jones comic, Jessica Jones ends up running into Madame Web, and Madame Web accidentally, like, looks into her mind and looks into her past. Like, without her consent, she just kind of does that, because that's what she does. She, like, reads mind, she knows the future, she knows the past, she knows everything. That's her whole thing.
She's a clairvoyant, blindfolded lady.
Yeah, but then Jessica Jones got, like, super mad at her for good reason, probably. But that was like my one of my first experiences with her as a character was just seeing that. I'm like, oh shoot. But anyway, so that's really funny. Less funny, in my opinion, but equally as disappointing, I suppose, is that we're getting a Naruto live action. I'm sure there's some people who are really stoked about Naruto live action, actually. So good for you guys. Good for you guys. You're getting another live action. It's Naruto this time. The one shining light for this, I think, is that Shang-Chi's director is doing this. So, and I like Shang-Chi, so that's like, oh, that's good, I guess. But, man, can we start on live actions, please? Especially for anime. Like, it never, like, One Piece is kind of an exception. But I'm gonna be honest, guys. When people talk about One Piece, they still talk about the original show. They don't talk about the live action. They're like, oh, the live action was pretty good. But they're talking about that in comparison to, like, how bad it could have been. Because that's how bad animes usually are. Or anime adaptations usually are. So it's, like, good for One Piece for not being bad. But most of them are bad. And Naruto is cheesy as heck. So maybe if they lean into that could actually save it and make it really fun.
Shang-Chi made me think we can actually have an actual Dragon Ball Z movie somehow. Like, I'm like, ooh, this could be done. I think.
There's plenty of Dragon Ball Z movies. You just mean live action ones.
Yes. That's
yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't need Naruto.
They could potentially do Naruto, but I feel like they don't necessarily need to have stuff like as exaggerated. Like, they're trying to go for the actual look on these things, which is really weird too. And I think that's what makes watching One Piece a little weird. because they still carry that style. I mean, they kind of have to because it's One Piece, but it's like how close are you gonna get, or how close do you want to get to like the look of Naruto? You know, that kind of a thing. Like, because you could capture the architecture and everything, no problem, and the outfits and the costumes without the crazy weird anime hair.
You just grab anyone from any convention, and you will find someone who has the perfect cosplay for these characters. So I don't think that's gonna be a problem. I think it's gonna be, is the action good? Is it like funny, cheesy? Like they have to kind of lean into that, I think, for it to be fun and good. But it's a weird show. Naruto's really weird.
I think the problem that One Piece. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you want to make a live action anime adaptation, why not make something original? I think just steal all the cliches from anime, because not everyone watches anime.
Yeah.
So that I watch a movie and go, I just feel like I watched an anime just now.
Yeah.
Because I would enjoy that so much more.
It's like when I watch Doctor Who and I think this is just British anime. Same feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think I agree. That's what
I think that would be great. You kind of get that feeling with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. You're like,
yes,
watching a video game happen.
Yeah.
You can do that with anime. Just have this like celebration of anime, and maybe not be on the nose as Scott Pilgrim, but like make just an action movie that's ridiculous, and you're like, did I just watch an anime? Did he just like Kamehameha out of his hands? What am I watching?
Yeah.
Right. That's it exactly, I think.
What I was gonna say is that like I think the biggest problems, like what I see with One Piece and Avatar right now, is that they feel like they have to rush things so bad. So like my problem with the first few episodes of Avatar especially is like, oh hey, let me explain why I have to do this thing real quick, or like let's just get the motivation out of the way so we can move on, kind of thing. Like there are definitely points of both of those shows where it's like, okay, yeah, here's the problem, let's move on, let's go. And so I'm just like those, you feel those moments pretty like deliberately, I think, like, and it kind of sucks because I'm like, can't we just enjoy this moment here for a sec?
Which is ironic because I know you're gonna talk about it a little bit more later, but I remember someone did the math of like how the original show had like every episode was like 22 minutes, but then like the length of the season 1 of the live action, like the math doesn't work. They're trying to rush things and they like don't actually need to.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just they're not doing it in a very good way, I think, so far. That's my one gripe with the
Where are they trying to?
I will play devil's advocate, LJ. When I watched Man of Steel, I definitely had the thought, maybe they should make a DBZ movie live action because of the fast-paced combat.
Oh yes, the fight with Superman and Zod was straight up Dragon Ball Z.
But that goes back to make a movie that just has a bunch of anime cliches. If you just got a bunch of people fighting like that, I would be in.
I think of like stuff like the movie Sucker Punch or whatever too. Like that's straight up like could be anime too. You know, another Zack Snyder thing. Oddly enough.
We'll get into television. I guess that kind of rolls right into this. The Avatar: The Last Airbender live action show. LJ, you have some more positive thoughts, so I'll let you. I don't have necessarily negative thoughts.
I'm that guy. I'm okay with being that guy.
I'll let you start, LJ.
So like there are definitely things like it definitely does have some. It definitely does have problems. Like I said a bit ago, it does feel like they are rushing it too much, and I feel like there should be a more tasteful way of doing that, because there's moments where they literally sit there and have a conversation, and like Aang's like, oh, I gotta do this because this and this, and it's just like, okay, like, so did you came up with that yourself? Like, like, so, like, what was the reason for, like, it's just one of those things, like, I think they could do better in, like, pacing. I think it doesn't necessarily have to be, like, bit for bit the show, but I think there is other ways they could do it better. I like most of the actors, and I feel like they're doing a pretty good job. I feel like the kid who plays Aang, like, there are times where I do feel like, oh yeah, that's definitely Aang, and there are other times where I feel like he's trying too hard or trying to be something different, which is okay too, but it just doesn't hit quite as well as like Saga does, and like I feel like even Katara, the actress who's playing Katara, does a real good job. Like most of the actors, I think, are doing an awesome job. I like the fight scenes. There are some set pieces that are really good, because I think One Piece struggles with everything feeling like such a huge set piece.
Right.
And so I feel like there are times where I have looked at Avatar and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That feels like an actual village or something like that. Like, and then there are other times where I'm like, oh yeah, that does feel kind of set piecey, you know, like, so I feel like Avatar is doing things like that One Piece doesn't necessarily do bad, but I just feel like I'm leaning on that Avatar might be a little bit better. In some ways, and they're able to do certain things that like One Piece can't because One Piece is so stuck on a style. But I think my consensus is that like if we're gonna like if you want to watch the original, awesome, stick to the original. Mm-hmm. But this is, I guess it's kind of like the conversation we had with Joe about like video game movies. It's like there are gonna be those people that like, oh, I don't want to watch a cartoon, or like, oh, that's kind of a thing. And it's like this is what that is going to be like. This is going to get
you're missing out is what I say.
Well, yeah, and then I'd be like, okay, well, you watched that, why don't you actually give the actual cartoon a try, like, because and it's not even that it's anime, like I would, like, because I mean it's definitely grandfathered in now, I guess.
Yeah, right.
But it's like, it's not even like it's anime, it's just one of those shows that's like, oh, like this actually is way better than what it looks like. It's a great story, and it's a story that's actually finished out, whenever you look at the original. So I think it's fun. There's definitely like cheesier moments and certain things that feel off, which I think is expected, but I don't think I'm hating it so far. It's not like the best thing ever either. Like, it's not like, because it's like, how can you compete with the source material? It's like, again, it's like, why? I think we're going to...
The showrunner was like, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
Right,
like,
and it's
exactly
so it's like...
why?
So then it's like, why? But okay, like, if you feel like they need to do it, I guess it's the best thing is to do it right. But it's still like, there's no real need to, I think we've talked about. So
totally.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
You mentioned the acting. I think I'll start there. The acting, for the most part, the actors are perfect.
It does feel off sometimes,
so far. Mm-hmm. Almost everyone is great. Saga, I mentioned this, no offense to the actor, but it looks like they took someone and were like, we need you to look like it, like they asked AI to make a realistic version of Saga, and then they got him. He even sounds like him. It's really good. There are definitely bits where the acting seems a little bit off. And my wife pointed out it is PG. It is meant for kids, and so maybe that's the way things are landing are a little weird for me, but it's to land a little bit better for children.
I do like how they're giving Sokka, like, trying to give him some kind of growth early on too already. I think that is cool, because he's like a super hardcore comic relief, most of the time in the cartoon. So it's like, I love that they're kind of trying to give him some like limelight and development.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm really enjoying the fact that it is such a perfect one-to-one in a lot of ways to the show. As far as like the actors go and things like that, I think that's really cool. I feel like
the setup and of the world was really good too. Like, they are trying some things with the world building that I appreciate too.
Yeah, they explained the war fairly well and how that all kind of worked out. Mm-hmm. It does have some tonal issues, which Netflix is famous for. So
love that.
PG.
There are some parts where you're like, "Oh, they did that."
Yeah, it's a kids show.
I'm just gonna say this, like, so you literally get to see these people burnt to a crisp off screen.
Whoa. Yeah, it's like he straight up just grabs a guy and just burns him, incinerates him.
Which is crazy, because it's like, oh yeah, fire is actually more destructive than like they could show, I guess, on Nickelodeon, So it's like, ooh, I kind of like, I get that, but it's also like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah, so totally, it's got some issues for sure. My biggest thing with it, we brought up the one-to-one. I think that it's just unnecessary. I think that if I'm going to watch Avatar, then I might as well just watch the animated show. It is fun, and I would love to see, like, I love seeing that part of it. I like seeing something animated brought to life in live action. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But I probably could have had like a 10-minute short of this and probably been happy to just see those characters interact.
Yeah. And
not a whole show. I don't need a movie even. Just to see it done. I'm like, oh, that's neat. A couple of thoughts. I have two different thoughts going on at the same time. ADHD, man. I do think that they were trying to make it so close to the show because the showrunners left. I know the producer of the show said that he was really trying to respect what they would have wanted, even though they weren't there anymore. And
it sounds like there's some corporate issues with that. Like, I don't think it was creative differences necessarily. It sounded like there were some big dogs trying to get their hand in the cookie jar.
But I almost feel like it did a disservice to try to be so much like the animated series. Yeah. And then the other thing that I've mentioned too is I don't even like bummed about it being live action necessarily. I just think that if you're going to look into this world, why not look at, especially with Netflix? Netflix could have done an amazing job making a Kyoshi story. Take the manga, turn it into a live action show, and you could have made it PG-13 or even TVMA, I think, at that point, and been pretty crazy with it.
Or if you got to make it about the war or like the times when the Avatar is gone, like you could totally do that too.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Because I feel like that's one of their strongest points is like the build up. Like honestly.
Mm-hmm. I'm only a few episodes in. I should say that too. I haven't watched the whole thing. But
me too. I'm like maybe 2.5 episodes in, I think.
They have a bit about Kyoshi that's really cool, and it really drives home they should have made a Kyoshi show, because now it's no way they're going to ever make anything.
No.
They might make more seasons of this from the sounds of it, even if it does poorly.
I want them to finish this out. Like that is one thing.
No longer there.
Yeah.
I'm much more excited for the creators to be making their animated adult
their expanded
TV
universe
movie that comes out in October 2025.
I am excited for that one.
That's going to be so cool.
And you know what? Maybe this will get people to actually check that stuff out. Like, I hope it. Like, I hope it would. Like, let this be an open door.
World. It's kind of a shame that they decided to retread the same masterpiece instead of trying to build more out of this world.
And I want to say this got started before like Paramount Plus was ever a thing, or because that was when they started partnerships with like Nickelodeon. And then it's like, oh, they're going off into their own network. Like, but we still got to make this, like, kind of a thing.
It was kind of, I think part of the reason that Avatar Studios got made was they left this, and Nickelodeon was like, well, you want to do more of your stuff? And they're like,
yes.
Like,
yeah.
So, in that sense, it's a good thing that this show came about. And again, I don't think the show's bad by any means. I think if the animated show didn't happen, the show would probably stand on its own and still be really good. I think it's doing a really good job of being the animated show. I just already have the animated show.
Exactly.
So.
That was the whole reason I got a Prime account, Amazon Prime account, was when it was only available on Amazon Prime.
And you can't beat Uncle Iroh in the animated show. He's doing his best. He's doing great. But Uncle Iroh is Uncle Iroh, man.
Rip.
I kind of like this dude's take on Uncle Iroh, too. He's definitely much more, like, positive and nicer and more of a comic relief, it feels like. Yeah, but I like this Iroh too.
Uncle Iroh was in the old one too.
Yeah, I
thought it was funny that one of the first pieces of advice he gives Zuko actually like completely backfires. I won't give much more spoiler than that, but I was like, "Dang, you don't make it sound very wise right now."
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm having fun with it. It's a good show, I guess. Animated for life, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Be out here.
Yes. LJ, what else did you watch?
I don't have much to say on it just because I've only watched a few more episodes, but I want to say I'm enjoying Vox Machina. I've definitely turned around on it.
Nice.
Because I feel like what they tried to do was they tried to make that first introduction scene or that first episode, they tried to throw it at you all at once. And I'm like, if this is how the whole season is going to be, I don't care. Like, if this is just going to be them goofing off the whole time. But no, it actually has, like, an interesting story going with it now, and it's giving me a little bit of Curse of Strahd vibes, like the not actual vampire kind of, like, villains and stuff. Like, I'm like, ooh, I dig this. And getting into more of the characters' backstories is really fun. So, yeah, I've definitely turned around on it.
Sweet. Yeah, it's quite good.
It's good.
Very rated anime for those listening.
Yes, definitely.
We will get into the TV news then. Speaking of Nickelodeon, segues too. Fairly Odd Parents sequel is happening. It is a CGI animation style, so I would probably think probably Jimmy Neutron's style, maybe. But
that'd be weird.
Yeah, it's better than a realistic CGI.
And it's weird because the show is super stylized already in 2D form, so I have a hard time picturing what this would look like in 3D form, in
Jimmy Neutron
CGI form. Yeah, that's true. But the characters have such unique designs and looks to them that I remember when they first showed Timmy in 3D with Jimmy Neutron stuff. I'm like, yeah, that looks weird.
Yeah,
great crossover.
And it was also not great CGI back then either, I guess, but still.
It's gonna be titled "The Fairly Odd Parents: A New Wish." Will be CG animated, and then premieres on Nickelodeon this spring. And I believe that they're taking care of a little girl. Yeah, Hazel Wells, 10-year-old Hazel Wells.
Okay.
Right.
Interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know why they're coming out of retirement. I don't know the whole story for it. But sounds fun. I loved Fairly Odd Parents.
Well, I guess because after a kid grows up, the fairies would have to go get another kid.
Yeah, you gotta find a new kid.
New job. That's some more for you.
A full 180 on news. I didn't think about that. There is a Game of Thrones spinoff happening. It is called Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
I was gonna say, try to come up with a segue for that.
Yeah. It's the show currently has a number of working titles. Night of the Seven Kingdoms is one of them. Tales of Dunk and Egg and the Hedge Knight.
That sounds like a story, like a children's book.
Dunk and Egg.
Yeah.
Why?
Still sounds like a
George R. Martin's.
Still sounds like a Dunkin' Donuts product.
Yeah, they take place roughly 100 years before Game of Thrones. Tells the story of Sir Duncan the Tall and his squire Aegon Targaryen. Anyone that watches Game of Thrones knows Aegon is a squire.
It sounds like a hard-boiled egg inside a donut hole or something.
Scotch eggs. Scotch eggs are where it's at.
Oh, that sounds like a real thing.
You don't know what a Scotch egg is. You want one.
An egg inside of a donut sounds.
But no, they're their names they're also known as Dunk and Egg.
Dunk and Egg.
Dunk and Egg.
Which is...
Dunk and Egg.
I can't imagine Game of Thrones era 100 years before Game of Thrones. They're yo, Dunk.
What up, Egg?
Egg.
What up, Egg?
I
don't know about the show.
They sound like street names.
Yeah, I want them to be teenagers just wrecking havoc in the city.
What's up, dog?
Yeah. Yo, Dunk. Hey, Egg. Let's go record our music video. I don't know.
Yeah, there's got to be a better title. The Seven Kingdoms one is automatically a better title.
Go get the bard, and we're gonna make our music video. Okay. I don't know. It's just in production, from what I'm gathering. 3-season run to cover all 3 novellas. Is the plan. 2025. Wow, that's soon. So yeah, that's a thing. I don't know if it needs to be a thing, but it is. I want more House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon was good.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's got to be doing well enough for them to warrant more, right?
Yeah.
Other Game of Thrones stuff, I guess, if they want to keep trying to Walking Dead this thing,
They are. Guys, I haven't talked about Walking Dead in a long time.
Oh no, what did I do?
You have something to say about Walking Dead now?
I woke the beast.
There is, I don't even know what it's called, but it's Rick and Michonne's spinoff show that was supposed to be a movie.
Oh. Gosh, I can't think of the title. I've seen advertisements for it, though.
I want to watch it.
I'm going to look this up.
Rick Grimes. Okay. LJ, I know you're busy now, but...
no, you're good.
What else we geeking out about this week? You mentioned your Spawn.
The Ones Who Live is what it's called. Anyway. So I got this... I ordered it online from a small local... not local, comic shop, but from a small comic shop. It is a big, important issue for Spawn. I'm not like the biggest Spawn reader, but it's just one of those characters that's like totally from the edgy like 90s era. Like this is Todd McFarlane was like inspired or was like basically the father of Venom, I guess, so then he went on to make Spawn after he was done with Spider-Man. So I got this big, it's like a single issue, but it's got a ton of pages. It's basically just Spawn 350, and it's basically a culmination of the battle basically of like that's going on, because the whole thing about Spawn is like, oh, he's an undead being, and he wants to kill the devil basically, for lack of a better, not the devil per se, but Malbolgia is like the ruler of hell or whatever. And so this is basically like, oh, who's gonna take the throne kind of a thing. So that's why it's a big issue, and it's 350. Like that's a lot, So I haven't read it necessarily yet because I got it in the mail today, but I got it from a small business called Mutation Comics. I realized, I'm like, ooh, I really want this issue. I'm not going to get to go actually pick it up anywhere. So it's this small comic shop out of New Jersey. It's an online comic shop that I just like, I looked up on Google. Are they legit? This isn't on eBay? Which, I mean, apparently there are comic shops on eBay now, which is cool. But I did not want to get swindled. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go to like a small business and buy one, because I figured it was going to be a sought after issue. So, but yeah, I'm excited to be getting back into some Spawn stuff again, because it was a character my brother and I like. The movie was terrible, like obviously that's basically what Madam Web is like that era of movies, like that Spawn belongs to. So yeah, I'm excited to read it. I'm excited it's out.
We geeking out about anything else this week?
Yeah, just real quick, since I know we're going long, I've just been trying to read more comics and manga and stuff. So I read Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. There's actually 2 of them, so I read them both. Just because I was getting excited from Deadpool through the trailer.
I have
and stuff.
2 volumes of the Deadpool manga that I should read too before that comes out. Yeah.
So that was depressing, but also interesting, I guess, just to show off how overpowered Deadpool is, and obviously how it's a good thing that he's kind of a jokester.
They're probably going to do Deadpool Kills the Fox universe with this movie, right? I would have to think.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
That'd be interesting. Speaking of Fox, there's actually a manga I'm reading called The Fox and Little Tanuki, which is because I've been reading The Legend of Arslan, The Heroic Legend of Arslan, and I'm now caught up. And the next one isn't out until July, so I was like, I need something else to read. So I found this cute little thing. I don't know. I thought it was like for kids, and so I was hesitant to like click on it in my little library app. I was like, I don't know. But the front looks cute, and it's apparently about a fox and Tanuki, and it's very like Japanese mythology, and so I was like based and inspired. So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe this will be like Okami. Maybe this will be like, I don't know. I thought it'd be cool.
Japanese mythology, or
it's I wouldn't say it's for kids per se. It's not necessarily like mature either, but I would say it's maybe more for like a teen audience. But it's
young adult category.
Yeah, maybe even like teen, slightly less than young adult, but it's like definitely not like kitty. I don't know. The art on the front and the description made it seem like it was like a kid novel or a manga, and I was like, I'm just bored and like I don't know. I might as well click on this, but. It's really, it's again, it's about this fox who kind of has this, like, really kind of tragic, dark past kind of thing. He used to, like, have all this power, then he got sealed away for 300 years. And then the sun goddess Madrasu is like, hey, I'm going to release you. I'm going to make it so you can't use all these ridiculous powers you used to have, because he used to be super duper powerful, too. He used to have all these powers. I'm going to release you, but on the caveat that you're going to train a new servant of the gods, and which is this cute little Tanuki, and it's definitely not what I expected, but I like it. It's wholesome, it's angsty, it's tropey, it's kind of furry bait, but I kind of love it. I kind of love all of it. I don't know. It kind of gives me the same energy as a lot of fan fictions do. Like, it has that energy that's just like so much passion and like caring about these characters so much, and even if some things are a little bit tropey or a little bit like a little, I don't know if angsty is the right word, or like really leaning to like the wholesome bits, it's like gooey and mushy and kind of great, so I like it.
That's cool.
I think it's I'm just enjoying it, so not much more to say about that. I think unfortunately it's also not done yet, so I'm like just getting into manga that's not done yet. I'm like, freaking, why do I keep doing this? I just need to read stuff that's already done. But anyway, that's that.
So
nice.
We will end the podcast there then. LJ, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at LJ the Paladin.
And Shelley?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
You can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. And you can find Geeks Under Grace on Twitch.
On Twitch, baby! Tuesday nights.
Shelley, you'll already streamed by the time that people hear this, but...
True, but people need to know. Tuesday nights, where
Tuesdays,
it's at.
7 p.m. Come check it out.
7.
Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Okay, bye! Central.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.